Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Houston Sharpshooters Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we had the offseason, which included a pretty tough draft because we didn't actually have any scouts, but it didn't actually serve as much of a problem as we drafted pretty well. We picked up some good prospects in for our system, especially on the defensive front. So I think our team is shaping up to being a good team soon. Hopefully it comes within the next 5 seasons at most. Now quickly before we actually get into simulating and getting over the comments, I do have to make a little bit of changes to the AHL squad because I didn't do that yet because I am recording this the day after you guys seen the episodes. So let's go to the AHL quickly and make sure we have the right guys in the lineup, the ones with the best potential, because obviously we want these guys to get the most growth as possible. So we are going to take Christopoulos out of the lineup in the AHL, and we will put in instead, we'll give Ronyan a chance since he's got top 4 potential. Yip is obviously going to play because he was just a pick in last episode, so we're going to make sure he plays. And then Mikonov is going to be taken out as well in favor of Smolinski since Smolinski has potential. And we'll probably also take out Orlando Ryder because he doesn't really have much potential anymore. And we'll throw in Schutz since he's got low elite potential. And then I guess we have to, let's see, Rocha has got low top 60, he's 19. I'd rather probably leave McIver in for now, but that's basically what our defensive core is going to look like down there in the AHL. So that means Whitaker is going to be a scratch. Who else is going to be scratched? Christopoulos is going to be scratched. Roach is going to be scratched. Cambeats has got only backup potential, correct? Yes. And goalie-wise down there, I feel like we have to take Colin out of the lineup soon because Colin is getting a little bit older. So I think I'm going to take Colin out for Cambeats just because Cambeats is younger and all around the same overall. And yeah, everybody else could be scratched down there. Nikolai Mikionov is unfortunately a bust. He was the second round of a pick, but he's probably not going to end up making the NHL at any point, which really sucks. Other than that, the rest of the AHL is good to go, and our team is good to go. We do have a new head coach as well this season, which is going to be interesting to see how it helps out our team, because we do have chemistry in almost every single area of our lineup, including our power play and even our penalty kill lines. So I think this season might be one of our best years yet so far. So before we get actually simulating, we do have a few comments to go over. So the first one is from HawksFan88. He says, well, I guess you didn't need scouts this year anyway. Great drafting, which, like I was just mentioning, we had a fantastic draft. I'll try and find all those players that we drafted so you guys could get a little bit of a refresher just in case. But we got Kapitanov at number 5, and he was the second best overall player in the draft, which was pretty nuts. And then also you can see in the system we got a medium elite prospect in Blacker. He's 48 overall, which is not great, but hopefully he could develop. He is an offensive defenseman. We also got another bottom 6 forward prospect, another top 6 forward prospect, which is good because that could help fill out our bottom 6. And we also brought in this Yip guy, who's a medium elite defenseman. He's jumped up to a 71. He was a 69 out of the draft. But yeah, this guy is going to be a big piece of our team's future on like our bottom 6 pairings probably in terms of defense, or maybe even our top 4, but it's going to help us out a lot, I think, once he gets into the lineup. We could even play him this season if we really wanted to. I don't know for sure, though, if I want to play him. Because let's take a look at our lineup in the NHL again quickly. We could always call him up because he's got good potential and maybe it'll maximize his growth. But in doing so, we'd probably have to send Dubnyk down to the AHL. So let's take a look and see if that actually makes sense for the team first. Because I wasn't wanting to play Yip in the NHL yet, but I might want to rush his development a little bit. So let's call him up and just see if he actually fits that top 6 pairing. And yeah, we'll just throw in a random player down there in the AHL for the time being. And yeah, that will be Christopoulos. He'll get taken out of the lineup once we send Yip back down, if Yip gets sent back down. But let's see if he's a better fit there than Dubnyk is. I wouldn't expect him to be, but who knows. Yeah, it's a -1 right now. It's probably because they're both right-handed shots, which means I could take Reed Roach out of the lineup, but I'm not going to do that. So I am going to send Yip back down for now. But Yip will probably be in the NHL lineup next season, which means Reed Roach or even Ozolinj could be on his way out upcoming season. So if their contracts are up, that is. So we'll send Yip back down to the minors and make sure he is in the lineup because we want him to get as much growth as possible because he's probably one of our best prospects down there in the minors at the moment. So there you go, Yip back in, and we are good to go. Should be a good season ahead, considering we actually have a legitimate top 9 almost, and our defensive core is probably our weakest point still at this time and period, but if we could get some growth from it, we will do good. So anyways, that's that. And then the final comment we have is from Half Silly. He says, looks like I had a wise ass idea of choosing guys at the top of the board. So yeah, that didn't really work out that well. Like, it worked out good for the first round, but the other rounds it didn't really make much sense to. But at least we now have scouts, so we won't run into any more problems like that down the road. So anyways, let's get into the season simulation, because we've already been talking for a few minutes. And yeah, hopefully this team can do pretty good this year. Last year we had 30 wins. The year before, I'm pretty sure we had around 30 wins as well. So I'm hoping that we could hit maybe around 35 this year. Considering we got a new head coach that actually fits our team pretty well, I think this is going to be definitely our best season yet. So 3-3-1 in the preseason, not too great, not too terrible either. Let's take a look at the points. Karostin, 7 points, not too bad. That's not that bad of a preseason. Could be worse, could be better. Hopefully the regular season is a good one. And yeah, let's go up to, we're not going to just binge sim the entire season just because in case we want to make any line changes, but let's go to January the 1st just to see how this team is in the first half of the year. And hopefully we can win a lot of games to start off this one. Okay, so we win our first game of the season, which is a good sign. And then we win our second game of the season, but we lose our third game. Okay. Now we're losing games, not a surprise, but we are staying still right at 500 right now. There's a couple losses in a row, but still off to a pretty good start for the most part. Definitely could improve, but once again, it's probably our defensive core that's not helping us out that much. And hopefully this year's draft, we could get more prospects in that fill out that bottom 6 or that defensive core even more so, because that's mainly where we need to address right now at the moment. So this sim engine is so quick though on next gen. Like, I'm glad I could just breeze through seasons really quickly. We are dropping a lot of games as of late. Come on, boys. We want to have our best season yet if possible. 11 wins so far. That's not too bad. Couple more wins, please. Yeah, there's a couple more wins. Yep. Okay. 14, 22, and 1 at January the 1st. That's not too bad. We're on pace probably to break our record, I think, or maybe just stay right around 30 wins. But we are not worst in our division, which is good. So far, Morales is over point per game with 44 points through 37 games, which is really good. That means our offense is definitely doing good. It is our defense that is slowing us down, though. So yeah, I think our defensive core definitely is the main problem right now with this team, and our goaltending. Once that improves, our team might actually be a playoff team, but right now it seems like we're just a pure offensive team because we have guys over point per game at this rate. Like, there's a chance that Morales could win our first major award this season if he keeps it up at this pace, which would be pretty nice, but who knows, maybe the rest of the league is scoring a lot of points as well. We're at 29 points. The last playoff team in our division has 42 points. So that's not too far ahead, but it's still quite a ways away. But let's get the rest of the season done. And we're not going to make any changes to our lineup throughout this year. But yeah, hopefully once the Yip gets into the lineup next year, that kind of helps us out a bit in playing better defensively. Because once we get that going, we're going to be a good team. At least I'm pretty sure. There's a couple more wins in a row. Also, hopefully our head coach in Chris Tanev doesn't drop down in terms of any overall ratings, because he's a pretty good fit for this team at the moment. So there's our 19th win of the season. Can we get 20 wins? There's our 20 wins. Nice. Okay, I like how we're doing still so far this season, and we might finish right around the same as last year, which kind of sucks, but it's probably that defense like I'm mentioning a lot. And we're getting closer to 500 again, but then we drop in multiple games in a row. There's another loss, and we're at the trade deadline. Let's just go continue simulating because we don't care about that deadline. And we're going to probably get a notification. No, we're not. So we're 25, 37, and 1 at the trade deadline. We still got a month of simulating to go. Let me just take a look at how far we're out of the playoffs. We're worst in our division, so it's not great. We are one of the worst teams in the league still, so I don't like how that's not doing that well, but our offense seems to be still doing pretty good as Jaskalainen is over point per game, so we definitely need to get that defensive core better, so hopefully we can find some more good ones at the draft, or hopefully some of the ones in the system are getting good development. If they're not, then that's going to be a little bit of problematic. We do actually have a new goaltender actually playing this year because Soderstrom. I don't think I actually showed you guys some of the new faces this year. Let me do that quickly before we actually get the rest of the season simulated. But Stefan Soderstrom, who we drafted, is in the NHL this year. He's up to a 76. Hopefully he can get up to like an 80 something by next season, and then that will help us out goaltending wise. But he's not been great so far. So far, Johansson has been the better of the two. But guys that we drafted in last episode in the NHL, Kapitanov is up to an 85. Wow, okay. Wasn't expecting him to get that much growth that fast, but it's probably because he's playing in the top 6. But this is the guy that we drafted in the last episode, just in case you guys wanted to put a face to the name. And then I don't think there's anybody else that we drafted in last episode that's going to be in the NHL. Yeah, the rest are in the AHL, so we aren't going to take a look at those guys yet until they get to the NHL level. But really good to see Kapitanov getting a lot of growth, because maybe that's helping us out offensively. But yeah, we need to find more like two-way forwards and power forwards and stuff for the bottom 6 to be a bit of a better defensive team, I think. No, we do not want Joel Edmondson. We're not going to even pick up any players on waivers ever. There's a couple more losses. Come on, boys. We want to get 30 wins this season. If we have a worse year than last year, I'm kind of surprised by that. We might be just turning our team into too much of an offensive-based team. Yeah, it looks like we're going to end up having a worse season than last year, which is really weird. There's 2 more wins in a row. We could still break 30 wins, which would be our record, I'm pretty sure, as we do still have 5 more games this year. Let's see if we could get a record-winning season. Come on, boys. Let's break 30 wins. There's 30 wins. Now there's a loss. There's a loss again, and there's another loss. So we have the exact same record, I think, almost as last year. Maybe a bit more regulation losses and less overtime losses. So I think we had a worse year than last year, which is kind of a surprise considering we had a new coach and all that. So yeah, our defense definitely needs to be adjusted, but offense seems to be doing good, as Jääskeläinen is now over point per game this season. Last year he was under point per game, so our offense definitely improved, but our defense is definitely not doing so well. So hopefully we get some growth in the system to definitely help us out in that front. But let's take a look at our team stats and player stats for the season. We'll also take a look at the AHL player stats, just because we want to definitely see if any of those guys got development or not. So in terms of the entire league, where did we finish? We finished 32nd in the NHL, so we weren't the worst team, but we were not the best. We were definitely not the best team, but we finished the second worst. The Islanders were the worst than us, yeah, San Jose and Vegas were just a bit above us as well. Seattle. But yeah, definitely our worst season yet so far. Goals for per game, though, we were not too bad offensively, it looks like, as I was thinking. Yeah, we're right around just below mid-table, I think, 2.83 goals per game. So I think our top 6 did really well, but our bottom 6 is probably struggling offensively. So once again, that's another thing we need to address. Goals against per game, yeah, we were the worst defensive team in the NHL, so definitely we need to get Yip into the lineup next year, and a couple of, like, that low lead prospect, if he gets some good growth. Our defensive core will improve, but we definitely need to find ourselves some good goalies that could help us out as well. And our defensive core just needs to get some growth, because that's our main concern right now. Power play percentage, our power play was the best in the NHL, so that's actually amazing to see. Considering we finished second worst in the NHL of all teams, we had the best power play, going 51 for 205, which is pretty nice, for 24.9%. Our penalty kill was, it wasn't terrible, but it's probably closer to the bottom. So definitely our penalty kill and our our regular goals against needs to improve, but our power play percentage and our offensive numbers are pretty good right now. We did actually score 6 shorthanded goals, which is pretty good, and then obviously we didn't have probably a good away record and all that stuff. Interesting. So that is our team stats. Let's take a look at our player stats for the season to see who did what. So starting off with our centerman Raimo Jääskeläinen, who's now 24 years of age, having his best season of his career. He was a +5 as well this year, so good on Jääskeläinen to be a plus player. And over point per game is also nice. He had a lot of power play points, so he was definitely a key contributor on that amazing power play we had this season. Then we go to Pasquale, who had 27 points. That's not too bad. 21 goals, so he actually had as much goals as Jääskeläinen, but he was a -30. Doesn't look like he's going to grow much more than his 77 overall, but you never know. This was one of his best seasons since year number 2 of his career. And then Zubov is still not really that good. We definitely need to find a replacement for Zubov because he's 25 and he's only a 75. So definitely we need to get more players into that bottom 6 that have better potential, that could grow a lot faster than he can. Left wing wise, Gene Thornton had 83 points and 42 goals. So Gene Thornton returning to form after last year. He kind of was a little bit slow in the year before, where he only had like 30 something goals. But 42 goals this year for Gene. That's pretty nice. And then, yeah, Kyler Morales, 82 points in 82 games. He kind of slowed down a bit, but still his second best season of his career. Pretty nice. A lot of power play points as well, and some shorthanded ones. And then Sam Seidu, not too bad, 45 points this year. A little bit of a rust there, a little less than his second season. He's going to need another contract this offseason, which means we're probably going to have to give him a big-term contract. And hopefully he doesn't want too much. He probably won't want that much because he's off to a little bit of a slow start for an elite player where he's averaging 40 to 50 points. So if we could lock him up like for 8 years at like $6 million or something like that, I think we could do that. Also, George Forster, 39 points. He's been playing on our third line. Not terrible, but he definitely needs to play a bit better defensively. It could be because of that bottom 6 is a little weak though. Malhotra, 13 points, only 2 goals. Definitely need to find more bottom 6 players because he's 25 already. Right wing wise, Kapitanov in his first season, 41 points. That's not too bad. It's a pretty good rookie season. A minus 22 though, which I don't really like, but at least he is seeming like he's going to help us out offensively a bit on that top 6. Karostin, 40 points. It's a little bit of a bad season for Karostin, considering he's been putting up 50 to 60 points before that, and we do have him signed for multiple years, so hopefully Karostin can return to form a little bit. And then Landon, 21 points. I don't know if he's going to really become much. And Goldobin definitely needs to get replaced as well. So our bottom 6 is definitely where we need to address. And defensively, Taratukhin, 48 points. That's pretty solid for him for his 4th season. Yeah, definitely he's been our best defenseman for points and stuff like that. And we have him locked up for a good amount of term. Liam Hedman is going to need his next contract next year. And he's probably not going to want super much, but who knows. He was a minus 37 this year, so that's a little bit scary. Turris, 20 points at a minus 29. Yeah, he needs to get replaced. Ty Dubnyk needs to get replaced as well. Yeah, we definitely need to make some changes to our defensive core, because that seems like the main concern right now. And then goaltending-wise, Janssen was a little bit better than Soderstrom, but both of them are staying right around where they were at the beginning of the year. Hopefully they get some growth going into next season now. And let's take a quick look at the AHL just to see who's been doing what. So Carter Ortiz, who's that medium top 6 forward prospect we just drafted last episode, had 51 points. So that's good to see. Hopefully he continues to grow. Tursenbayev's up to a 73, so he might be on our bottom 6 next year, because he seems to be able to put up some points. Strudwick's not really much of anything, but he still had a good season. Vermette, it's not really anything either. And Ferraro, who has lowly potentials, up to a 65, so that's not too bad. Hopefully he could get some more growth in that, though he's only 21, so maybe he becomes something. Aegon had 50 points. I don't think he's going to become much of anything. Holloway's definitely not anything. Sim, not really anything either. Sidor, he could become something. He's 68 at 20. Hopefully he just gets growth, though. And then Larocque, bottom 6, really doesn't matter. Seaback is still pretty good. I might play Seaback in the NHL next upcoming season, because he has put up some good numbers in the AHL. And then Heino, 13 points. He's a bottom 6. I don't know if he's going to really pan out. And then defensively, let's just go through this. And okay, so Dante Yip is definitely making the NHL next year. He's up to a 76, which is better than most of our defensemen on our team right now. So he's definitely going to be a second pairing defender next year. He had 36 points this year as a defensive defenseman at 19 years of age. So yeah, he's definitely going to be on our blue line next year. And then Ronnie, 62, 62 for shoots. He's getting some growth. Yeah, I don't know if our defensive prospects are going to get a lot of growth, but at least Yip is going to be somewhat solid. And goalie-wise, I don't know if those guys are going to get much growth, but our goalie's playing pretty good down there in the AHL, so that's good to see. Interesting. So that is that. Now let's sim up to the awards. Actually, let me take a quick look at the entire league just to see who led the league in points in the NHL, because I'm kind of curious on that front. See if we had any guys in like the top 5 in scoring or something like that. So no, we didn't for offense. Actually, Jääskeläinen was like top 10 though in points, but he was definitely not one of the best. And best goal scorer this year was Malkin with 55 goals, which is kind of nuts. But Gene Thornton should be up here somewhere, right? Oh yeah, there he is. 42 goals. Not too bad. Love to see that. And let's see, best defenseman, Quinn Hughes with 80 points. Best goalie for wins is Elvis with 45. And best rookie this year is Elliot Dempsey with 61. Interesting. Okay, so let's sum up to the awards and see who wins what, and then we will sum up today's draft lottery results. I'll show you guys the draft class and our progress reports, and then that'll be it for this episode. So, looks like our AHL team might have made the playoffs, or maybe not. Nope, our AHL team must have missed. That sucks. Seemed like they did, but I guess not. Okay, let's see what happens and who wins the Stanley Cup in 2027-2028. It is going to be, cue to Jeopardy music, it's going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Colorado wins the AHL. So let's take a look at those awards. Not really surprised that Toronto won. Let me take a look at that playoff bracket. So Toronto beat Chicago in 6 games, so it was an original 6 matchup. Interesting. Let's look at those awards for the season. So Toronto wins the Stanley Cup. Toronto also won the President's Trophy for the 2nd straight year, and Toronto-Chicago Cup Finals. Evgeny Malkin wins the Art Ross. Connor McDavid the Hart. Shane Dean won the Norris for the 2nd straight season, so he must have a lot of statistical growth. Aho wins the Lady Byng. Dempsey wins the Calder. Matthews the Conn Smythe. Hellebuyck won the Vezina in Ottawa. Nedeljkovic wins the Jennings. Heatley wins the Bill Masterton for Montreal. Ouellette for Chicago wins the Jack Adams. Cole Sillinger the Selke. And McDavid the Lindsay. And Malkin the Richard. As for the AHL and the awards for our AHL team, does not look like it, unfortunately. So that is that. Now comes the time where we get to find out where we're drafting. Hopefully we do not have a super high up pick again, because or else it's just going to be more problematic cap-wise in the future, but I'm okay with still having a top pick too. So, and we are not going to have the first overall pick. We do fall from 2 to 4, so I'll definitely take that because they'll probably be a cheaper player in terms of the long run. But Vegas is going to have number 1, San Jose number 2, the Islanders number 3, and us number 4, Seattle 5. So retired players for the season, I don't think we're going to lose anybody because our team is so young, so we're not going to really take a look at this. But Malkin retires as a Maurice Richard winner, which is kind of crazy. But those are the big name retirements, just in case you guys wanted to keep tabs on that. But I don't really care about the retirements that much in this series. And the best goalie to retire is Carey Price in Belleville. That's a little weird. Tuukka Rask as well. Interesting. Okay. Looks like some players being scouts. Yep, Malkin and Hedman are now coaches. Interesting. And for coach retirements, did we lose anybody? Probably not. Yeah, I don't think so. That's good. Okay, so let's go to continue simulating, and let's take a look at that draft class and also those contracts and the progress report. So starting off with the draft class for this year, since we have the 4th overall pick, and we do actually have scouts this year, so that'll help us out. Apparently our Swedish scout didn't really do any work, which is weird because I didn't assign him to their actual leagues apparently, so I guess that's why I didn't actually have one in the SHL, which kind of sucks. But at 4th overall, we're probably going to end up taking this Taylor guy because he's another defensive prospect. I definitely think that's the right choice to make, even if this guy is also an elite player. I think we definitely could use more defensemen, so that guy would probably be a good pick. So I'm going to pin him. But yeah, I should have probably assigned the scouts to the right league, just to make sure we have scouts in every area as possible. I'll probably do that for next season, but if I remember. Oh, there's a guy named Merrick Svatos. Damn, that is kind of sad. That is kind of sad. Let's take a look and see if there's any low leads for later rounds that we can pin, because we need to find some guys for that bottom 6 and for that defensive core. There's a low elite defenseman that's supposed to go in the 2nd round early on too. So that's perfect. Hopefully we could actually get him. So I'm definitely going to pin him in Roman Melikar, because that will be another good defenseman to have for our team in the future. Don't know about that Dag guy, if he's going to be a little elite or not. What about this Kazanov dude? He might be decent. I don't know. Really tough to tell with some of these players. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. Any good goalie prospects this year's draft? Not really. Looks like, wait, let me just start by scout rank. Maybe some elite goalies, but I don't really know if we want to draft more goalies or not. Okay, this goalie has some good overall ratings, probably. Bobby Reinhart, what a name. We'll pin him, even though he's supposed to probably go in the late round 2. But we might be able to get him in an early round 3, I don't know. But yeah, if we want to get another goalie prospect, Bobby Reinhart's probably the dude. But he's probably going to just be like a fringe starter that has a high overall. Like, this guy has also really good ratings for a late rounder. Let's just pin him as well, just in case. Is this guy guaranteed medium elite? Yes, he is. Damn, there's a medium elite goalie supposed to go at 137. We'll definitely pin Vic Benson for now. And yeah, it looks like a pretty interesting draft ahead. Definitely we could find stuff we need. Let's take a quick look at those progress reports and see who's getting some growth. So Reed Roach has jumped up to a 76 apparently. Wait, is it what? I think that's a glitch. Let me just go back. Yeah, that's definitely a glitch because the defenseman wouldn't have quick draw. There's no way that's possible even. Yeah, there's just a weird glitch right now because that's Jaskalainen's, I'm pretty sure, X factors. Reed Roach definitely does not have quick draw because there's no way a defenseman could have quick draw, I'm pretty sure. It's just a weird glitch. But anyways, Reed Roach is up to a 76, so he's definitely getting some good growth, and that will definitely help us out on our defensive core for next season. Kapitanov's getting some growth, Jaskalainen and stuff like that. A lot of our NHLers are getting growth that we needed. Soderstrom's up to a 78. I like that because that means he was more of a legitimate starter. He's actually listed as a backup goalie, so our goaltending is getting better. And then, yeah, these three didn't get any growth, so it looks like Janssen's going to cap off right around a 77, which is a little bit unfortunate. In the system-wise, we are getting growth from, let me actually sort by current overall, just because that matters more. Looks like a lot of the guys that were in our bottom 6 and our defensive core aren't getting much growth, which kind of sucks. But a lot of guys that were in the minors last season are getting growth. So that's good to see. Like Schutz, that low lead is up to a 66. So if he continues like that, he will be on our defensive core in no time. And then Ferraro's getting growth. He might end up getting into our bottom 6 at some point. So there is that. Blacker, that medium elite defenseman, is up to a 56 after 1 year only. That's really good to see as well. And what's his stats looking like? Not terrible so far, but that's good to see him getting some really good growth because he might end up getting to the AHL at some point and becoming maybe more of a top 6 defenseman for us than an elite defender, but still that is good to fill in a void on our defensive front. And yeah, I think it's pretty much that. Also, that starter that we drafted in round 7, was it? I think I drafted this guy in the 7th round. He's up to a 65 at 20. That's pretty good. Love to see that. And finally, let's take a quick look at the contract situation just to see who is up for this offseason. So, all expiring. So, Sidu is going to need a big contract. He wants $7 million for 1 year. If I was to lock him up for like a 5-year deal, we could probably get him for cheap. But I don't know how long term we want to lock him up for. Like, we could give him a 1-year deal, but he could have a really good year this upcoming year and then demand a ton of money, and we might not have that type of money. So it's up to you guys if we want to give him an 8-year deal or like if we want to lower it down to like a 5 or 6-year deal, because we do have a lot of guys on 8-year deals at the moment. As for other guys, Pasquale's a 78 now. He still wants 1.8. Reed Roach is going to want a one-way deal. A lot of these guys are going to want one-way deals, but most of them will probably end up just being qualified or something like that. And goalie-wise, let's take a look at Janssen. He's not wanting too much. Joseph wants a 2-way deal. That's pretty good, actually. And then Khan also wants 2-way. Okay. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Houston Sharpshooters Draft to Glory. So in next episode, we'll take it to another offseason as we look to continue addressing our defensive core and our bottom 6 to make us actually a playoff team. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.